Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. I've been wanting to talk about this for so long, and if you aren't new to my channel, then I've definitely talked about this multiple times in different videos, just sliding it into vlogs and whatever I'm filming, just because it's something I'm very passionate about. And I was like, you know what, I'm feeling like ranting, I'm feeling like chatting today, so I just decided that today's the day that we make a whole consolidated video about this topic. And I don't know if it's controversial. If it is, I truly do not care, so let's just go ahead and get into it. I don't even know what I'm titling this video. There's no script. I'm kind of just talking and going with what comes to mind. So excuse me if this is kind of all over the place, but I just want to go ahead and bring you guys back to sophomore year of high school. And I was in English class and I had to do a project. Part of my assignment, I needed to go to the bookstore and find Black authors just because it was really relevant to my specific project. And so I remember I went to Barnes and Nobles and I asked the associate there, I was like, hey, I'm looking for Black authors, if you can like give me some recommendations, put me in the right direction, the whole bit. And the lady was super nice. She was like, yeah girl, I got you. She took me to the section, and most of the books, if not, well, literally every single one of the books were really good books. Okay, don't get it twisted, really good books with really good authors and really good and important messages. But the more that I was skimming through the section, very small section might I add, the more 16-year-old me started getting kind of like discouraged and like disheartened, just because all the stories were about slavery, segregation, civil rights, and just all around racism and Black struggle. And again, these are really important themes and things that we need to discuss, and we need books about these things. But the lack of variety kind of made me sad, just because it made me feel like if the main character of a book is Black, then it has to be because there needs to be a lesson behind it and there needs to be struggle behind it. And it was pretty immediate, like that's the vibe that I was getting. And of course at the time it could have been the Barnes and Nobles I went to, it could have been just the associate pointing to me towards just that one direction. Maybe I just didn't do a thorough enough job looking. But to be honest, like if I were to just go to the fantasy genre, the romance genre, there wasn't going to be Black main characters. Like that just wasn't a thing. And I feel like even if all those things were true, I looked in the wrong section, it was at Barnes and Nobles or whatever, I shouldn't have to dig that deeply to find a book with a Black main character going through life and it's not about Black struggle. Because at the time, I'm just a 16-year-old girl going through my 16-year-old teenage life and wanting to have a book that reflected that I felt represented in. Because yes, it was for my project, but also at this time I have a long history with reading. I, for my own personal wants, would love to have more diversity in books and in media, and it just made me feel really like I needed to be in a box. And I feel like that was the thing that really like sparked for me, because at the time I'm 16, and at that point like I stopped reading consistently at like 13 or so because I started getting into social media, and that's a whole nother story. But it made me think about the shows I'm watching, the media, the movies and all that stuff. And that's when I was really like, oh shoot, like where's the rest of it? You know what I mean? Like I felt like I didn't want to feel like if there's a main character who's Black, then it has to be because we have to learn about struggle. Because there are so many things and experiences that Black people have that are beyond also just what white people put us through. Like it made me feel like if our stories are going to be told, it has to be because of white people. It has to be in the lens of white people. And to me it almost felt like if that's all we're talking about, we're like giving them that power, if that makes sense. And again, these are really important books and really important stories that need to be told. And if you want to misunderstand me, I really don't care. But there's nothing wrong with having these books in addition to more. Okay, so I'm currently editing and I just wanted to add this as well, that one of the things that got me thinking was like, I'm sure there were so many Black authors trying to get into just like the different genres, whether it's like fantasy, romance, just things that don't have to do with struggle, in whether it's bookstores or whoever, I don't know. I feel like it doesn't make sense to them to have Black authors and Black characters if it's not about racism? Because it has to be purposeful, like I said. And would they think it would be as profitable to have like a Black fairy trying to save the world, or like a Black girl who's the prize and everybody wants her? Like, does that make sense? And like, for so many people, the default is just white. And even like in our language, like if we say, hey, I saw this person down the street, they're gonna think it's a white person. People have to specify, oh, I saw a Black person down the street, or I saw this teacher, oh, probably a white person, oh, I saw this Black teacher. Like, white people don't need to have that extra description, but if you're anything else that's other, Black, Asian, whatever, you have to add that, because a person is just white, or just when you think of a person, it's white. So that's just something that got me thinking. I may be thinking too deeply, but yeah, anyways, let's continue. And so, like I said, it definitely got me thinking about so many things and the type of Black people I saw in media. And at the time, like, I would love to watch like 90s sitcoms that had Black families. Like, I thought that was great. That's So Raven, loved her. And True Jackson VP, awesome. Like, I just loved those two in particular because they were Black girls, like, thriving. Like, True Jackson VP, she literally was the vice president of like a big fashion corporation, company, whatever, and then ended up being the president. And then also in That's So Raven, she slayed all these looks. She was the main character. Of course, they talked about racism. Like, you know that episode where they're like, we don't hire Black people. Like, it was still important, but that wasn't her whole identity. Even like the movie Jump In, I really loved it. I just rewatched like a couple months ago, and it's just like refreshing to be seen in multiple lights. Like, we can be the vice president of a fashion company. We can be, what is it, national champions or whatever it was for Jump in Double Dutchers. We can be psychics. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that stuff was so cool to me, and I just felt like there wasn't so much of that out there, especially at that time. When I was 16, I think all those shows were gone by now. And when I thought back to the Black characters that I saw, a lot of them had the typical Black best friend trope. And if y'all know, you know that so many times Black women are, I don't know, like, I've talked about this stuff before, but like trying to articulate myself in a video can be really difficult, so like work with me. But like, they would have like a trope of a Black woman, and her only purpose was to be the best friend of the white main character, and she would have to be the funny one, the one who don't take no crap for nothing, the one who would stand up and fight the main girl's battles, the very sassy one. Like, it was almost like their whole purpose for being here is to be like the bodyguard, almost, to me, of the white main character and be comedic relief at the same time. And I would rarely see like more in-depth stories with them, because of course in writing there's nothing wrong with having a Black side character, but what else do they have going on in their life beyond, oh, I'm gonna beat you up if you mess with my friend, I'll beat you up? Like, it's just like really annoying. And I feel like I can name so many examples in my life where people have like like looked at me and they would talk to me sassily, like, oh, we know da 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 da, like, you don't take no crap. And like, of course I don't think I take crap, but like, they wouldn't even know me and say that stuff, you know what I mean? Like, if a friend says it, someone who knows me says it, then sure, but that's not something that's associated with just Black people in general. But people love to have that stereotype that like Black women are tough, Black women are strong, and we are strong. But like, why can't we be feminine? Why can't we be dainty? Why can't we be soft? And that's something that was really bothering me, because I felt like we weren't having like enough variety in who we are, not just in terms of being seen on screen and only having struggle, but then also like we have to be at the forefront and fight these battles that we have no business being in, you know? And honestly, this is not unique to Black people at all, because I remember even saying, well, I've been saying this again, it's maybe just the first time you've heard about it, but like, even in so many of the books that I have back here, there have been multiple times where they would have like a gay best friend or a gay cousin or something, and all they want to do is make them just sassy and make them, again, the comedic relief, and not have more to them besides just being the gay best friend, the Black best friend. I don't know what it is about people who think like, hey, I need to have more diversity, let me make a gay best friend, and let me make a Black best friend. Like, have y'all ever thought maybe you can make the character those things and not fit them into this box? You know, like I remember a couple years ago I was watching Damon Dominique. Love that man. He's one of my like favorite language YouTubers. He travels the world and all that stuff, and at the time I was watching him pretty frequently, and I remember he said something once, because first of all he never really like came out. He said something along the lines of like, why do gay people feel the need to have to come out? Like, why can't he just be and just like exist? It was something like, oh, the more that you come out, the more then it makes it seem abnormal or something along the lines. Again, watch him because I don't want to put words in his mouth, but it was something along those lines, and he never felt the need to come out and make a YouTube video about coming out because he just is Damon. He just is his own person and didn't feel the need to do all that. And he said that he would get oftentimes when people find out he's gay, they would almost do like a whole switcheroo and be like, oh, like yes queen, and the whole thing. And he didn't like that because that's just a stereotype, thinking that all gay people are like in a like act a certain way when that's just not the reality. And when he said that, it really resonated with me because I would get comments about being like a sassy like black woman and someone who's just tough and strong and someone who wouldn't take crap for nothing, and like, you know, I can like fight battles or something when I'm just a girl. I'm literally just a girl. I feel like around that time is just when it started really becoming on my radar, though there have been so many instances before then where I would have like examples of things that would be said to me, and I don't know, I thought like, oh, that's just the norm, like that's just how it is, and not really seeing how they're actually microaggressions, and I just didn't know, I guess, the language for it. And so we're bringing it back again to 7th grade. I was 12, 13 years old, and I was writing a book with one of my friends, and it was called Elementals Unleashed. It was a book where we low-key like mixed like Avatar: The Last Airbender with all like the different elements, and then also maybe Harry Potter, because they went to like a school for all these elements or whatever. And we posted on Wattpad. It was a whole thing. And I remember like something we did was that we put ourselves in the book. So like her name was in there, my name was in there, and we would like write in our point of views, and yeah, we would just be doing things because like we put ourselves in the book, if that makes sense. So I would write in Amina's point of view, and Amina would be going on these adventures and have like crushes and whatever, and like she had her thing. And I remember one time she asked me, she was like, so Amina, like, are you gonna be black in the book? And I remember at the time I got so embarrassed. Like I felt so embarrassed. And I remember feeling like I don't like what do you mean by that? Like we're literally putting ourselves in these books. Why would I not be black? And at the time I was like, yeah, I'm black, and I'll show you a picture of my inspo or whatever, because we're trying to find like actresses or just people who could look like us, kind of, because like at the time I'm 12, 13, but in the book we were like 16, 17, maybe 18, so we were trying to like age ourselves up but still be ourselves, if that makes sense. And so I remember it made me feel like there was something wrong with being black, because like we're in this magical world, right? Like we have magical powers, I got a man, like, so if I can be all these amazing things, then why not be white? Why not be black? Like that's what I was feeling in the moment. So I was like, should I not be black in my book? And like I knew a part of me felt bad about that, so I tried to find the whitest black girl I could. So I found me some Tila Dunn. I literally got myself a picture of Tila Dunn. And if you don't know her, she's just a YouTuber, and she's super light skinned, and she's had claims on YouTube about like, is she pretending to be white? Is she, I don't know. Either way, I didn't care. She was just the lightest person I could find. And I was like, yeah, I'll be black, but Tila Dunn. So it's almost like killing two birds with one stone. Like I don't have to be ashamed or embarrassed of choosing to be white, but also like I'm not like the blackest that I can find, which, oh my god, like I cannot believe I was thinking that. But like I felt like I was damned if I do, damned if I don't, because one, it was like, okay, well, you can have magical powers, why not be white? Like you could be anything in the world, why not be white? But it felt like a betrayal for me to be white when I'm not. And literally even using my name and pretending and describing myself as to be a white girl, like, doesn't make sense. But also it felt like I wasn't, I don't know, less desirable. Like either be white and be embarrassed choosing to be white, because everyone in our class was reading our books. Like even our teacher was keeping up to our, like our English teacher, she was keeping up to our story, which is cool because like she was really supportive, but also she was crazy at the same time, but that's another story. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and link that story of that teacher if you want to know the tea of the time that teacher called me the devil. But at the moment, she was very still part of our little story. But I was like, that's embarrassing. I can't have my whole class think I'm white. But also, like, apparently being black is less desirable. Will they not care about my character anymore? Will they only want to read and be interested in my friend's POV and the things that were going on in her parts of the book? So I was having a moment for real, and I was just like, can you imagine, like, if I was white, she wouldn't have said that. That was the last thing that came to my mind. I would have been like, hey girl, are you gonna be black? Are you gonna be white still? Like, I really don't think she meant any harm, and I feel like it was like just one of those subconscious things, which is what happens with like microaggressions. And like when you consume shows and books and there's never a black character, like I felt like she would probably be in agreement with me. Like, does it make sense to have a black character when we're not talking about black struggle? Because that's all that was out there and that was all that I was exposed to, like, except for the small percentage of ones, or at least percentage of ones that were like popular, like That's So Raven and True Jackson. Those were the ones that made it out, you know what I mean? There's probably so many that just haven't seen the light of day or haven't been picked up yet or become popular. And that was literally just one example, right? Like, I can think of so many others where people would just be weird, like they don't realize what they're saying. And I really truly believe it's, of course, like it could be just people, they know exactly what they're doing, know exactly what they're saying, but like all these stories I've been saying so far, I was a child, like these were things going on, and also weird comments that I would be having from other children. And I don't want to add on to that. I don't want to be part of the problem, or at least what I think is a problem. And when I started getting back into reading again, I would look for these books, because I'm not gonna act like it's the same issue now, because thankfully, like, I see so many black authors, and I discovered like book talk, I see people sharing other like black authors and like black stories, and like I see them, and I'm not gonna sit here and say that they don't exist and it's the same desert it was when I was a kid. But there are definitely quite a bit that I've read, and I am slowly but surely trying to make my way through these books. But something that I noticed in the ones I've read so far, not all of them by any means, but just enough to draw my attention, is that often the book might not be about black struggle or racism, but it's just definitely gotta be like slid in there. Like, there's gotta be a comment about it. And like, I can probably pull off my shelf, like, let me go ahead and do it. We got this one, we got this one, we got this one. Like, this is just looking real quick at my bookshelf. The ones with like black or brown female main characters that had comments about racism that just really made me feel like I just can't escape it. Like, I'm not trying to say that they shouldn't have done anything, just based on my own opinion and what I like to read. I just feel like in my day-to-day, I'm already seeing things on the news. I'm already experiencing things in my life. I'm already just very aware and know what goes on in real life. So when I'm reading a book about a black main character, forgive me if I just don't want to bring in that same struggle into a fake book. I want to live in a fantasy world and pretend it doesn't exist, and want her to just be worried about trying to get the guy or save the world from the evil darkness, or, you know, silly things like that. And it doesn't mean that like if it mentions it, I'm gonna automatically hate it, because like this was one of my favorite books that I read this year and it mentioned racism. But I would just really like to have more books where we can have black main characters and not just have it always be about struggle, because to me, in of itself is like a form of like rebellion. It's a form of protest, and it's just something that I really want to contribute to. So in case you are new here, I am currently writing a book for the very first, well, not for the very first time, because as we established, I tried writing a book in the past, but I'm trying to actually finish her, because the last book and other attempts I've never completed. So we're currently trying to finish my book, and my main character is a black girl, and a hard boundary that I have is that I am not bringing the racism of this world into my book. That is not happening, and in any book, honestly, because I'm going to continue to write books, and I'm going to continue to write books with black main characters and black characters who aren't touched by the nastiness of this world and of this country. I have so many thoughts and I just don't think I can add them all into this video, so I can definitely do a part 2 at some other time. But I just wanted to also add that, like, in addition to me making like Black characters, it's like Black characters that are like so unashamed of their like dark skin and their curls and the bonnets they wear to sleep and the different hairstyles that they have. Like, that's the type of characters that I want to make. And also having like love interests who love them and not being afraid to love them out loud. And yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to say, because I feel like in the moment I was kind of like scatterbrained a little bit. I was just thinking to whatever came to mind, because in everything that I said with the token Black best friend, they're never desirable. They're never someone worth going after. They're never seen as someone that's even seen as an option for love, and that's just not at all what I want to portray, and that's why it's super important to me. And all the books that I write and characters that I make in the future, because I have had so many instances where I felt like I needed to also confine my Blackness and do things to fit a certain mold, whether it's straightening my hair or hiding my culture or whatever it felt, because it didn't fit in the norm and whatnot. So yeah, and also I want to go ahead and shout out Shaughnessy Schroeder. She is an amazing booktuber, and she always talks about Black authors and books with Black characters, Black love, and I absolutely love following her on Instagram. So I'm gonna go ahead and link her down below if you guys are interested. And if you have any Black creators or just creators who are interested in diversifying reads, go ahead and drop them in the comment section below. And maybe in the future I should definitely make a video about like my favorite books, so I can recommend them to you. And so if you were in a similar boat to me, then I got you. Yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and add that. So yeah, that is just a long way of me telling you why I write Black main characters and why it's important to me to not include racism and Black struggle, because I don't want to contribute to the notion that our stories are only important if we're talking about our struggle, and for people to subconsciously think that that's the only purpose of having, you know, Black main characters. If you guys made it this far, thank you so much, because honestly, this might be very controversial and I don't really care. This is just my experience, and if you have a different one, that's fine. But I just really wanted to talk about this and encourage you guys to, like, if you guys are going to have, I don't know, people of color, minorities, whatever, like in a book, like maybe try to stay away from stereotypes and like putting them in boxes. Like, of course, if that's what your book is about, if you're writing a book about Black struggle, if you're writing a book about racism, then go ahead. Like, this ain't got nothing to do with you. But if you're not, don't just slide it in there just for the fact of sliding it in there for no apparent reason, no purpose. If you're going to just like have a Black best friend just for the sake of diversity, and you want to just make them a sassy person who's only there to like fight the white girls' battles, then I encourage you to maybe think otherwise and think like, hey, what would you do if you made your main character a Black main character? Ah! Scary! Oh my gosh! Ooh, spooky. Okay, I'm doing too much, but for real, I don't know. But if you are like me, if you are Asian as well, because y'all, I see you, and the way that people be doing Asians dirty, and the way that they also, oh my god, you know what? I'm gonna go in a whole nother tangent. But yeah, I just encourage y'all to maybe consider anything maybe that I said, possibly, and if I'm full of it, then I don't know. Yeah, that is just my sweet little rant. I feel like I might be forgetting something, and low-key I'm maybe scared of posting this just because like I can definitely get like misinterpreted for funsies, and that could be kind of scary when you're talking online about something controversial, and I'm really just trying to like say my opinion. So hopefully I articulated myself enough. But TLDR, let Black girls be soft, let Black girls be feminine, let Black girls be just worried about trivial things and not always have the weight of the world on their backs. How about that? Anyways, if you guys like this video, or if you made it to the end, be sure to like this video because it really helps me out a lot, and I will know that you guys like videos like this. And if you want me to be messy and controversial, then I can. If you want me to chat more about different things on my mind, then I definitely can. And leave What kind of emoji should we do today? You can leave any type of black girl emoji or like a flower, because we are soft girls as well. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching this video, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.